Hey, welcome to the Lux channel. So often there is this misconception in the tech industry, especially the system software development domain, and this is something often time to time I have discussed in various episodes. Let it be about data structures and I have discussed about excessive expectation of one should know about linked list or some kind of tree and stuff like that. In the real world use case, it really depends on a specific case. It doesn't matter that you need to know all these things. It really matters, and in case if it is required, you will end up using it, or else you have other better options, and quite frequently you are good to go with the standard arrays itself. Similarly, I have also discussed about a couple of other practices time to time in my various episodes. So out of which often you notice when it comes about job interviews, or when it comes about the overall sense in the industry, they often emphasize about debugging tools, and this is something they kind of emphasize that when they recruit someone, they should know about debugging tools, and they should have very good hands-on with the GDB and other debugging tools. And this is something, again, it kind of irritates me, because anytime this is an experience I'm just sharing with you. Anytime I attend an interview, they generally ask about debugging tools, and there are instances I generally share my opinion that I am good to go with the standard printfs if it is something related to user space stuff. And if it is something related to kernel space, I'm good to go with the print case. And they kind of ask, how come you can do a print case, and what if it doesn't come onto the screen? What if it doesn't come onto the system? It all depends on situational basis. If you are working in some headless some embedded board, maybe you need to know something else. But other than that, if you are working on a standard Linux kernel which is running in a PC, you don't need to. So you are good to go with the print case. And also it depends how do you architect your code. It also depends on the same. So I kind of architect my code in a specific way, which I have also shared in various videos. I don't kind of follow this regular norm which the mindset of this people in the industry have, because they have some kind of attitude of a software developer where they don't know the other aspect of the industry is, end of the day, when you do your code, it is getting used in some place in a device, or in an application or some software in the customer premises. So end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you have not inserted one line of code, or you have done an array, or you have done a linked list or something like that. It really doesn't matter. It really matters is the business aspects, how they can able to sell this code, and how your user base perceives that application. So end of the day, no one cares whether Android is good or Apple is good. It all depends on the ecosystem what you choose. So similarly, this episode I would like to discuss the emphasis of learning some scripting language other than just sticking with your C coding skills. This is one issue with the system software developers, is they kind of be completely away from the user space world. And I'm not telling about some JavaScripts, I'm not telling about some Java apps, or some kind of C# or something about web scripting. I'm generally telling about basic scripting languages. They are completely well away from that world itself. I have seen, even when I was working in Monta Vista and KVM networks, I have seen many individuals who are very good in board bring up and kernel level platform development. They are good in porting and other stuff. They are into core systems, unlike me, because I'm into systems, but I'm in the networking domain. I kind of work in both kernel space as well as I kind of work in user space. So that's my domain is all about. But whereas what I have seen is there are so many guys who work on core systems level, but often I find one issue with these folks is they try to stick with just one set of approach and one set of perception. That's the thing. They kind of don't get that entire big picture. There are other possibilities to explore when it comes to software development practices. So this is something kind of sometimes at times it annoys me. So this is the reason it gives an emphasis for you guys. If you are into system software development domain, appreciate there are other aspects of that, and you can also explore the user space part. The more you work once in a while on user space components, it gives you some kind of satisfaction. And if you ask me, whenever I work with GUI components, let it be about Toffee or whatever it is, apart from working on kernel level stuff, it gives me some kind of sense of relief and sense of satisfaction. Kernel is something, it always, you feel as if you are sitting on a frying pan and you need to be ultra accurate. You do some mistake, you need to recompile the entire kernel, provided if it is not a module, and then you need to insert, and then you need to repeat the test cycles. But this is not something required for in case if you are writing some SaaS applications or GUI applications. It's just you can do it more relaxed way, and you can have fun in your life, and you can do it in a different context altogether. Similarly, these days I am also having fun every time I shoot videos like this. I edit the same, and then it takes around a couple of hours to prepare that edited video and compose everything, and then I publish once it is all done. So this way it is also makes sense for you guys to learn some scripting language. Not necessary you need to learn all the aspects of the same. Just learn some good scripting language, and then you can use it in your existing projects in your company. There is also often one issue I see is, especially in India, we have some software developer, he is so and so because of his resume, that's it. And his resume, it's all dictated by the companies where he works. So he have worked in, say, couple of companies. Whatever the projects he had undergone, that's about it. Beyond that, he doesn't know anything out of that premises or that perimeter, and he don't explore much. So this is often an issue. Just don't when you think about your personal skill sets, just don't depend on your company. Just work for them. You are working for the salary as a full-time employee, whatever it is. So just work for them, and then try to acquire some skills for that projects, what you work for that company, for that project. But other than that, you have your own personal life, you have your own, other than family and other stuff, you have your own career path. So try to focus these aspects and try to self-improve. It's just not that company is having some practices. Yes, of course they may ask you to follow some practices. That doesn't mean that you don't explore the other side of that dimension. So as I do with all my videos, I can give a quick short introduction saying that, hey guys, this video I'm going to discuss about PHP coding and other stuff. This is not the context. The context is all about, you should understand the true purpose of learning some scripting language, and where exactly you guys have the gap, because this is not a video about teaching some scripting language. This is not for web developers or something. This is a video about the importance of learning scripting languages for people who are in core system software development. So this is what it is. And I can also emphasize, in case if you have even more free time, you can also learn some database and stuff like that, because sometimes if you do kernel profiling, if you do network performance profiling, you can get that data points and you can dump it in a database, not some CSV file and all this bullshit. So put it in a database so that professionally you can get any analysis graphs and other stuff. You can create RRD graphs, you can do lot of analysis. I have seen this, another big disease in the system software communities. They kind of collect the data points and then they get in the form of some CSV or something like that. They will get one text file and then that text file they put it in some Excel sheet, and that Excel sheet they will try to generate graphs. Trust me, the person who creates any graphs out of Excel sheets is just somebody who is completely into business, who is into management or MBA guys who do that work, not a professional like you. So try to import this or try to export this data points in a database like a professional, and then from there try to get that analysis graphs, because the beauty about the database is you can aggregate, you can do sum of the data points, you can do suppose if you take minute by minute basis, you can do hourly analysis. If you have hourly basis, you can have a daily analysis and weekly analysis, monthly analysis, yearly analysis and stuff like that. This is all possible with something you entered in a database. This is not possible if you do in Excel sheets, because you have to do that so manually, and this is not something a professional like you who are supposed to do. So put little more effort. If you learn something about a database, it is also going to be useful. Some basics about MySQL, you don't need to use some professional Oracle system or something like that. You can use MySQL, and this is also going to be useful as you go progress with respect to your career. So in that aspect, when it comes to scripting languages, I personally love PHP scripting, because I don't like bash scripts much, because bash itself the syntax looks really awkward as such. Me coming from the background like C, I can appreciate to an extent Java, but I never can accept bash scripts. It really looks yucky to me. So I don't like writing any make files. I stopped doing that. I used to do make files long back. I never do make files. I do automation with PHP. I write make file equivalent with PHP, to be frank. I don't really like this stupid make file format at all. I don't even write installation scripts with any such bash scripts as such. So I like using PHP or some kind of sensible language, or at least you can write a C code to install your C compiled binary. So I better prefer that rather than trying some stupid bash scripts. So personally, if you ask me, I don't like bash scripts. And Python, it really looks like that old basic language. So there is some reason I still don't like Python much. Maybe in the future I may explore down the lane. I may work on a couple of Raspberry Pi stuff and research and some fun projects. Some are meant for shooting this video, some are meant for my own research. So as a part of that, I may do some Python programming. Other than that, I'm good to go with the PHP, because PHP I can literally do anything. So there is also another advantage, especially for a system software developer, to learn PHP, because it just takes around a couple of days, not more than that. It's just, or even just a single day. That's it. That's about it. This is not like C with all that useless pointers and stuff like that. The reason I'm saying pointers annoys us is, for every reason you need to use pointers. If you do some extensive string processing, you need to use pointers, and it really doesn't make sense when you write a kind of high level advanced language which can do some cognitive analysis or something like that. C is not meant for that. C is meant for really hardcore low level system software programming and nothing more than that. So this is not something suited for your debugging analysis and stuff like that. But PHP is a good scripting language you can start with. It's just, as I said, it just takes around a day, because the syntax of PHP itself is so much similar to C. I don't want to emphasize about features in PHP, because you can do object oriented code in PHP also, but I never do that, because I'm good to go with regular structured programming, just like C equivalent in PHP. I'm good to go with the same. So I don't use OOPs, but if I use some third-party graphs or third-party libraries or stuff like that, of course you need to use those OOPs features. But still, having said that, it is a lot more simpler when you compare with something like C++ or even Java. So to start with, I would like to give a very quick overview and kind of relate in which way it helps if you are a system software developer. So you can do a quick PHP code this way. Let us open a new file. PHP. So generally PHP files will have this kind of a tag where inside, even if you write a web scripts, you can have the similar tag, so that within the HTML you can embed this code, so that when you serve this code through Apache web server, it kind of executes this PHP parts, and then it generates the outcome of whatever it is put inside. So let us assume, let's not go to web scripting, let us have this in the context of like a user space application, just like you write hello world programs in C. So we can save this as like my php.php, something like that. You can save this file. So with this the basic hello world is something like this: hello world \n. So with this it is complete. So if you want to execute the same, you can do here ls, and you can see that a PHP file is there. So php -f my PHP. So that's about it. So this easy it is. So if you see something similar you do in C, you need to do many things, and you have other options as well. You can also do this, you can also do this, and you can also do even the %s and stuff like that. You can just do like C as well, something like that. I don't want to go all the details about the same. So the objective of this video itself is to change your mindset. Don't sit and stick with the C and keep singing praises of C. So change your mindset. There is a language meant for every purpose. When you want to do some analysis, when you want to do some kernel profiling in user space, don't sit and explore that so popular so-called how to say your debugging tools and stuff like that. Just come out of that world and try to explore. There are other beautiful things which you can do in a different way completely. So this is the purpose. So I don't want to explore all the features. I just want to give a quick glimpse so that you can have that sort of motivation. So you can do all these variants just like your regular C. You can do even printf and other stuff. So as you can see here, even it supports printf. I hope this works. I'm not sure. So we can just do, as you can see, even the printf as well works. So since it has 2 \n and as well as in the string, it is displaying with a double \n. So if you remove the same, you can do the same. So you don't need to compile and you don't need to do anything like C. As you can see, it really looks like C, and this is the reason I love PHP than any other scripting languages. So apart from that, having variables is quite simple. You can have a variable like this $a, and then you can just put it this way, and then you can pass this variable. It is also again possible. So if you do, again this will also work. Unlike C, you don't need to do all that string initialization, buffer initialization and all that bullshit. So it's quite easy. And more beyond that, if you want to concatenate something, you can just do something like this. This is a test. Once again you can see the difference. This is not something possible with C. So you can do the same. It still works perfect. And apart from that, there are certain real serious aspects of which PHP really helps you. Suppose if you have something like this, you have a command, say suppose system, and if you have done something like this, if config, something like this. So let's just comment this portion of the code. So you can execute the same. As you can see, it executes like the system command in user space C as well. So apart from that, you can do an extraction of whatever it has. Say grep eno1, that's my nick card. So that's my nick card, it is having that. Or else let's let's grep like inet and we try to extract the IP address or something like that. So you can see here it is having that rows extracted inet, and so let's assume we need to just take something and then feed it in a variable, and then we need to convert into CSV or something like that. So or else we can even do eno1, and this way you have that interface address for one interface. So inet, so let's assume we don't need this IPv6. So in that case we can even say like grep single quote space single quote. Let's try the same. So you can see here it has extracted that particular line. So and then you can use your regular bash scripts. With that you can just extract that single single field. So this way you can just extract it. I have shot various episodes on this, which I don't want to much cover in this video. So you can go here, because this is not a video about bash scripts. So I have done somewhere bash command, where I shot various videos, and command online course CLI scripting. So this is something I shot long ago. You can just refer this in. I don't want to go much in depth on this. So let's assume something like that you are trying to attempt, and what you can do is, instead of doing this, you can even assign it to a variable, say dump, and then you can use something called a single ticks. This way, okay, and what you can do is you can generally try to get it inside your code, and you can do further processing. This is something which is quite useful whenever you you need to get some data from your dumps or something like that, and then you can process it within that scripting language, because scripting language is very powerful. You can do any kind of string level processing much faster than you try to do with some C or any other platforms. So you can do the same, and you can just do dump. Let's just type \n, and as you can see here, so this it generates the same. So like this you can take, and here you can do a lot of string processing. You can do your regular string processing, you can do even regular expressions and stuff like that. You can generally get an online help on PHP. So as you can see here, you can go to this website. You can find various examples, like you can see here. You can find here various samples, and other than that you can have that entire API reference, and it's a prototype and stuff like that. So this is also quite useful. So you can see here, you can find whatever documentation you need for that specific API. Again, I don't want to go much in depth, because this video is all about getting into that sort of a platform. So you can do a combination of regular expressions the way you want, and you can extract that information quite easily and quite faster. Just imagine you doing some regular expressions in C user space applications. So this is where PHP quite excels. And apart from that, you can do some regular for loops and switch case constructs, just like any C language. So if you want to print something for $i equal to 0, you don't need to initialize, because this is like any scripting language, it doesn't need initialization. So which is the reason you don't need to initialize. So I less than say 10 and $i plus plus, so something like this you can just do. And again you can do print abc \n, something like this. So let us just comment the same. So you can see here it just works fine. So this way again it is similar to a C code. This is the reason I like and love about PHP scripting language. So similarly you can do if statements and switch case and stuff like that. I don't want to go much in depth because this is a video I'm shooting. Assume you are already a very seasoned system software developer. This is a video about to change your mindset and try to explore something which is quite close to your C programming language, but you have that ultimate power so that you can do certain things much faster in the user space. Let's say for example I was exploring recently RRD graphs. I was doing it over here and I got some I got some example. From that example I was doing my own RRD graph, and then I need to take a network interface card and I need to plot its you can see here I need to plot its port parameters. So you have this, I'm getting this and I'm getting it via this. So this is my function, and I mean this is the PHP script which I wrote to display on the screen, versus this is the PHP code which actually generates that specific data points. So that way if you see here I have written the same, and then to get into the screen you can see here RRD graph. Let's go here and let's explore the same PHP RRD graph, because this is something I was customizing before I was incorporating RRD tool in Toffee project. Before that I was doing the feasibility, because even I am new to RRD graphs. So I was checking out the PHP variant. You can see here you can do the same, and you can do this in command line as well. You don't need PHP for RRD graph, but you can automate this entire process using this option. So that's what essentially I was doing here. So that's what it is. And you have another variant where this is the first one which I was customizing the same. You can see here I used before hard coding I was using the same way. If you see here if config, and I was getting that RX and TX bytes, and then I was doing that command line parsing and then extracting the same over here. So if you just copy this and type over here if config eno1, so essentially I am extracting in this case RX, so it is RX bytes, let me check if it is having any bug. RX bytes 105, yeah, it's RX bytes. So that's what I was exploring with PHP. So this is quite easy to do. It is quite very fast if you do something like this. So this is the reason my entire website and various other components are written in PHP. It is not always I do with C. As I said, even there are certain components I always use PHP for that, not C code. Whenever it comes about a daemon which should run in a CG device, means career grade device or something like that, never use any scripting languages, because you should not keep that scripting language instance alive for a long time. Instead you use C code, but whenever you use any target invoked events or some kind of batch processing or accumulation of something into a database or something like that, you can use PHP for that, and this can be triggered from your central C daemon. So this is what is the architectural approach I usually I usually follow. So that's what I don't like, centralizing anything with one programming language. So I kind of split. And when it comes to graphs, sometimes if it is live graphs, unlike this case, because these are like this graph, whatever you are seeing is a zip file. You can see here it's actually a zip file. So if it is something like that, of course RRD is one option, but if you are having some kind of live graph, then you can use JavaScripts and other stuff. So this is the kind of So I was initially exploring the same, and as you can see here, I just hard coded, and again I was trying out the other options, and then based on that I did the same. So this again I'm kind of sharing my own internal resource, so that you get that sense and you get that idea. So similarly, once in one video I have discussed at home, I have some a list of things like you have it here, my list of entire hard disk, whatever I have used, whatever it got expired and stuff like that. So this again I maintain in the database, and the corresponding code is somewhere over here. So let me just close everything. Let me just close all this windows. So if you go here, this is where I kind of maintain. So here is my code. As you can see here, it's a combination of HTML, and as well as within the HTML, whenever it touches the database, I use extensive PHP for the same. You can see here, you can see the example I'm getting from the database, and I'm copying it to my PHP variables. So I don't want to again discuss about each code construct. This is how you can do in PHP. So you can have this DB and query, and you can pass the query, and the DB is nothing but it's an it is a part of database access instance variable, and you can pass any query, and then you can get the values, and you can do the same. So this is again quite easy. If you generally Google, you can find how you can connect to a MySQL through PHP, and then you can get values, or you can even do insert commands, update commands and stuff like that. So that's about it. So similarly, I have various other tools. This is for monitoring some power. This is maintaining my TrueBench CPU list and stuff like that. This is my YouTube stats. Once again, I maintain in the database. When every time I get the stats in that YouTube tool, I try to sync with the database, and I have it in my entire local ecosystem. So this again I manage with the PHP. You can see here it is quite huge. So you can see here it is quite huge. The way you have to reach that level is to explore further. It's just not about you sit with one coding language and then you try to get mastery only on that platform. And other than that, this is my actual Toffee website, and this is your Linux channel website code. You can see here I manage the entire stuff in PHP. So anytime anything you are seeing here, let's suppose this is the page number 51, so you have so and so stuff, and this is the corresponding code for the same. So I edit here and I publish in the website. You can see that over there. So you can see here I have this video list, and apart from that I have also another array of video list. Here I generally register as soon as I shoot any video. I get that YouTube link, and then I create an entry in this long array. You can see here it's quite big. So this is started quite some time ago, because even before this I shot videos, but it is not registered in this array. So in that case you can find those video items over here, which is not registered in that long array. So you can see here. So everything is coded in PHP. You can see here. So being myself who is into C essentially all these years, I generally do appreciate PHP for the same reasons that it is so similar to writing any C applications, but you have that entire freedom and you have that extreme power when it comes to PHP scripting versus something like C programming language, because you need to go very deep, low level to do anything, versus you can do these things in a much easier context, just like any scripting language with PHP. So with this I would like to conclude this video, guys. In case if you have any questions or if you want to discuss anything, be in touch via mail. Thank you once again for watching this video. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.